This edition of Football Friday is presented by the West Virginia Lottery. When you play, West Virginia wins.
Welcome to Friday Walk-Thru. I'm Dwight Wallace. Here's Jed Drenning, and Tony Caridi is in transit. We have Iowa State now this time around, and what do you think, Jed? I see where timing is so important in football, and wouldn't you know it, but last week a new quarterback shows up, scores 6 times in 7 possessions, and now we're stuck and have to figure out how to prepare for this guy.
Yeah, Coach Wallace, a 51-23 win over Kansas last week was no doubt sparked by Sam Richardson. He didn't even appear on the two deep, said Kansas head coach Charlie Wise. I really wasn't expecting this guy. We were ambushed, and he came in and absolutely lit it up. 4 straight touchdown drives in the second quarter to put that game away after Steele Jant struggled a little bit at the outset. But what a game by Sam Richardson. And both these quarterbacks, Coach, they present some unique problems. They're effective, productive runners. That's something else for a young West Virginia defense to concern itself with on a short week. So there's a lot of concerns here, and they have 50 points for the first time in 30 games. They seem to be cresting at the right time under first-year coordinator Courtney Messingham. They've scored 35 or more for the first time in a decade, playing better offensive football than they have in recent years.
And it's more than just throw the football. These guys all run. So they run some option. These guys scramble. They do move the pocket. They're not just going to sit back there. So if we would want to bring pressure, it's going to be tough. We have to find them first.
Yep. Yeah, we do have to find them first. And they have 3 guys that they can really lean on in the run games. They have some depth there, and that's an advantage that they haven't had in recent years as well. They're not turning the ball over quite as much as they did a year ago when they were tied for the most turnovers in the country. So much more effective offensive football by Iowa State.
I think looking at the other side, Paul Rhodes, the head coach, was an engineer of the upset of West Virginia when it looked like we were going to get a shot at the national championship. And so he's got his mitts on the game plan. But you mentioned they've got some other help in game planning as well.
Yeah, well, as you touched on, Coach, it does start with Paul Rhodes, and West Virginia fans know up close and personal what he's all about with what happened in that Pitt game. Not just that game, but other games. He coaches his kids to tackle in space, beat you at the point of attack, but his defensive coordinator is a guy by the name of Wally Burnham. And this guy has been around the block a few times in his own right. Played for Bear Bryant at Alabama. Used to be on Bobby Bowden's staff at Florida State. And from a linebacker coaching standpoint, coached some names you probably recognized. Derek Brooks, Marvin Jones. So it might not be as big a surprise when you consider that this guy who worked his way through South Florida and gave West Virginia fits, when Iowa State loses a linebacker as talented as Jake Knott, his backup Jeremiah George steps in under the tutelage of this guy and does a super job as well. So not as surprising.
So a real challenge again. Iowa State is next on the docket. Let's see if the Mountaineers can't put together a win.